Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wander and Grow. I'm here this morning and I'm going to talk about seed saving. I think I've touched on this before, but I just wanted to go in a little bit deeper detail about seed saving. And as you can tell, I'm in my kale patch that's right off of my patio. I've been growing these kale and some broccoli down that way since about November. I clip these off whenever I want some, blanch them and freeze them. I put them in soups. I feed them to my goats when they're being good. And now I've let them go to seed. So I'm going to talk about five ways or reasons. So 5 reasons that you should save your own seeds. And then if you stick around to the end, I'll show you examples of some of my vegetables that I am going to save this year for seeds for next year. All right, here we go. All right, so as you can tell, I've got some kale right here going to seed. These little pods are going to make tons and tons of seeds. So I think I've said in another video that I have little seed packets I got off Amazon. I label them with the date and time that I harvested my seeds, and then I plant and grow again the next year. The first benefit of saving your own seeds is quite obviously cost savings. This year I've noticed that seeds have gone up at least 50 cents in my area. So if you buy a metric ton of seeds like I do, different varieties, different kinds to just kind of try out, they have gone up in price, and this helps you save costs on your homestead. So if you find a variety that you like, if it's doing well for you, it did well in your climate, which is the next reason, then definitely save those seeds. It's gonna save you money in the long run. All right, the second reason you should save your seeds is because of the local adaptation to your humidity, your climate, your microclimate is basically what your plants will be adapting to. And if you save the strongest plants, the ones that did the best for you that year, they're gonna have better genetics for the next year. So you will eventually kind of like weed out those bad genetic plants that don't do well in your area. So my area is humid, it's dry, it's hot, we have sandy soil, we have certain pests that are really hard to fight off. And if you save the seeds of the plants that have done well for you that year, they will eventually have better adaptation to your microclimate. So do that. All right, it's getting a little toasty out here, so I'm hiding under the shade of my kale. Okay, so the third reason, which kind of ties into the second reason, is the biodiversity and genetic resilience. So the more you grow, the better they do in your soil, the better varieties that you pick and adapt to your climate, the better diversity you're gonna get. So just kind of like I said before, the third reason is mostly for biodiversity and genetic resilience. It's really weird how plants like adapt like people do. Like all of a sudden we had a pinky toe. Like why? So weird. All right, fourth reason why you should save your seeds. The fourth reason would be natural reseeding. So there's lots and lots of plants that naturally reseed themselves that you don't have to plant again for the next year. 2 of them this year for me are stinging nettle that I use for like skin support, and dill. I've let my dill reseed. I've collected the seeds and put them in my little thing. I've sold them at the farm stand for $1, so that all of the people in my area who want those dill seeds, they will do well in their soil because we all have the same type of soil in this area. And they're a lot cheaper than store-bought. So reason number 4, natural reseeding. And then reason number 5, and probably the best reason, hi baby Midnight, look at that baby right there. Hi girl. Her name's Baby Midnight, but she's 4. Anyways, number 5, and possibly the best reason to save your own seeds, is pollinator support. We all know our honeybees help us in our gardens, and as your plants go to seed, they also flower. And just like any other flower, pollinators are attracted to those flowers. They don't have to be beautiful. They can be vegetable flowers too, and your pollinators love them. So, reason number 5, pollinator support. Now here's a little glimpse of the things that I'm gonna keep this year. Obviously this kale, because it has done really well for me It's produced big leaves. It tastes good. It's not bitter or anything like that. And then this broccoli, I am going to save it because it has produced for me some pretty decent sized heads. And I do like that. Look at that guy right there. That's what I'm talking about. Pollinator support. All right, here's a few other plants. Let me show you. All right, so this dill right here has done really well for me too. It grew through the winter, it grew through the heat of the summer that we're still in. I'm gonna save these seeds, and I actually have sold some of these at the farm stand. So all I do to collect these is shake them off. And then I put them in my little seed packet and I date them for the month and the year. And that's it. And last one, this one's the biggest one. This one's the best one. All right, we're here in the tomato patch. And it is a requirement that you whisper so you don't disturb the tomatoes. All right, this is the best one. This tomato plant I will be saving seeds from, and I have saved some seeds already, but I'm just getting gigantic tomatoes out of this guy. I bought it from a farmer's market. It was a local farmer's market. I bought it maybe a foot tall. I bought 2 of them. They were $10 each, and I was like, that's pretty pricey. But I bought 2 of them, and I'm not kidding. I've gotten tomatoes the size of my palm out of these. I pick them when they're green. I let them ripen on the counter, and then I eat the most delicious tomato sandwiches with them. So I will be preserving these tomatoes. I don't know if you can see. I'll flip it around and do a little show of this, but seriously, this is probably the best harvest on one single tomato plant that I've ever gotten. And even though when I'm eating the tomato, the seeds are my favorite part, I am sacrificing some of them just to save the seeds of these 2 plants. And then I'll show you these 2 plants in comparison to what my other plants are doing. All right, so stick around. Okay, so these 2 are the tomato plants that I got from the farmer's market. Like, look at these things. Look at that. I've never gotten so many big tomatoes off one plant at the same time, especially. Like, they're huge. And there's another big one. I've already picked about 5 off of here that were about the size of my hand. And in comparison, like, to these tomatoes, very small. I mean, these are a different variety, don't get me wrong. And they're a little dense in here. I probably should thin them. But, you know, I really like the big slicer tomatoes. Here's some smaller ones. So yeah, I will be saving these ones. So do what's best for your garden. One last shot of something that's going to seed. These are my carrots. They're going to seed. They got confused this year because we had a little cold snap, and they were like, oh God, it's the second year, let me make some seeds. So I'm saving a few of these. They are taking up a lot of space, but I think it will be worth it in the end because I got a huge carrot harvest this year. They were delicious. Sold a couple pounds of them. Then I decided to keep the rest for myself. I canned them. I fermented them. That's another video that you could probably watch right here. Can we do that? I don't know. But yeah, so I'm going to get to picking. I've got some potatoes that are ready. I've got some tomatillos over there, probably some onions. Check on my beans. Check on the peppers. So I'm gonna get to picking, and I'll see you guys next time. Like and subscribe if you want more videos like this one, where I almost cry because I'm thinking about seed saving and how it benefits everybody, including our little pollinator plants. Bye!